this is Sean from HZad Education, and this video is going to be about the concept of drilling in ESL. When we sign up as English teachers, this is something that is mentioned in our TEFL training, in our TESOL, in our CELTA training multiple times. So basically, this concept of drilling that I'm going to teach you guys today is something that is highly emphasized in teacher training. And if it's emphasized so much for us, imagine how much useful it is going to be for you guys. So this method is something that I've played around with myself. And now we run multiple programs on this. We run multiple groups all around the world working with this very same formula for years. And we have been highly successful in using this formula in improving our students. So when our students make mistakes, they are grammar mistakes and pronunciation mistakes mainly. And we're right now focusing in this topic today on how to improve your mistakes long term. First of all, let me tell you guys that English language is something that if you really want to improve it, it never happens in a month. It happens in at least 2 to 3 months. So when we talk about improvement, we're not talking about vocabulary, etc. That is a lifelong procedure. I'm still improving my vocab. Okay, but we're talking about getting rid of your accent and getting rid of your grammar mistakes. So one thing you can do if you're self-studying, right? So let's say you don't have a teacher. And by the way, we have teachers who can teach you pronunciation, great accent, and correct grammar. But if you don't have any teachers, you don't want one, you want to study by yourself. For pronunciation, it's pretty simple. All you got to do is read a book, okay? Read a book, read a few lines, record it, and play it. Then go on Google, all right? Go on Google, type text to speech. What text-to-speech software do is they're gonna be able to read everything that you have written and say them. They're gonna sound those words or sentences in the American accent. And there are some, if you want to learn the UK accent, by the way, there's some software for that as well. So now what's going to happen is the text-to-speech software is going to read the text in the correct American or the UK accent, and you are going to play that along with your recording. So this way, you'll compare the difference, and you might have to play them again and again. You'll compare the difference and see where the issue is, where they are pronouncing something and you're not able to pronounce it the same way. Let me give you a common example. The word cheap. I hear a lot of issues with the sound. So CH, the ch sound, it should be said with more air. It should be cheap. And you can see how much air I'm releasing when I say CH. Cha, cheap. That's the correct American accent. When we have a lot of people from other countries, they say cheap. Okay, so there's no air here. It sounds cheap. It doesn't sound cheap. So it should sound like the second one, cheap. All right, so there should be more air. Now again, a lot of times people, they're so used to hearing themselves, they're not able to tell the difference. If you can, that's great. If you don't, you might want to consider taking lessons with a professional. Now, assuming you are able to determine that, okay, this American accent says it this way, I say it this way, write that mistake down, and now you have that mistake. Okay, that's one for pronunciation, all right? And you might have more, of course. Let's talk about grammar. So for grammar, you use, again, if you're on your own, you can use lots of good content. One of my favorites is Grammarly. Download that app, download the extension of it on Google Chrome, and then type some letters, type some essays for yourself. Whenever you type something wrong in grammar terms, Grammarly will correct it. It will show you the correct usage. Okay, so for example, you're writing a sentence and you're saying that this car, or let's say you're saying we all belongs to this planet. It's incorrect. It should be we all belong to this planet. So now you know the mistake is when you say we don't say s with the verb. So we belong. It's plural. We is plural, so we belong. So you write that mistake down too. Now we're going to talk about the concept of drilling, how drilling will fix it. Drilling, guys, in ESL is just repetition. So whenever you have any error, all you got to do is repeat. But if I just tell you this and end the video, it's not useful. So there's a formula for this, and you might want to pause it and write it down. If you are focused on your ESL performance and your English, and you take it seriously, this formula will change your learning and it will change your results. Every mistake you make you have to repeat the correction of it 10 times for 14 days. Okay, this is our secret formula. This is something that I train all my teachers in, and a lot of teachers know this already because, as I said, when they're certified, they know these things. And this is something that we implement with all our training programs, and all of them yield amazing results. Once again, repeat each mistake correctly. So use the correction, repeat the correction 10 times per day for 14 days straight. No breaks, you don't take the weekends off, because what we're trying to do here, guys, is we're building a habit. Okay, so once you keep repeating this for 14 days, in ESL, you don't need 2 months like other habits. In ESL, you need 14 days. You repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. The idea here is to keep your mind and tongue. The tongue behaves on its own way, trust me. Keep your mind and tongue in sync. When you repeat with your mind, you know what you're focusing on, and your tongue says that every time, every day. Eventually, after the 14th day, your tongue remembers it. And then when you speak, you don't think. Because what happens is when you think, you won't make mistakes, honestly. So if you really think of the correct pronunciation, you are speaking super slow, you don't have an audience, you know, you have all the time in the world, you won't make a mistake, because mostly my students, they're above average, they know the grammar rules, but when they speak, they say it incorrectly because they're thinking about what to say, so the grammar is going to come out naturally from the tongue the way it is coming out, the way it has been coming out. But if you are able to train your tongue to say it correctly, doesn't matter what you're thinking here, your tongue will make the right sound. So one question I get is, Mr. Cheyenne, what if we do all the 140 attempts in one day? Absolutely not. That's the whole purpose of this exercise. We're trying to push it for 14 days because in one day you can do it 1,000 times. Tomorrow you'll forget it. So in one day we're trying to build a habit of repeating it 10 times, then doing it again the second day and another day for 14 days. That's when your tongue and brain remember that for mostly a lifetime. You still have to practice this. You can't just stop at 14 days. You still have to communicate in English with people around you. So you have to have that atmosphere around you. But the idea is repetition for 14 days, 10 times each day on every mistake. Going to our pronunciation mistake, what I'm going to do with the word cheap is repeat. Cheap, 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 cheap 10 times. Sounds silly, doesn't matter. This is my practice. Then we all belong to. Now that's a grammar mistake. How do you repeat grammar? You make multiple sentences with grammar. So the problem is with plural, we, and belong, the verb. That's my issue in grammar. I'm going to make 10 sentences with plural and a verb. Okay, so first of all, we all belong to this planet. Okay, and next one, maybe something similar. People living in Canada belong to Canada. Okay, so again, people and belong, plural and verb. Let me change my verb now. Let's say people in this world are people in this world play guitar. So play is the verb and people is plural. Another combination, houses. No, houses don't really do an action. I was trying to say construct, but let's say multiple televisions in Best Buy play different movies. So again, multiple televisions is my plural subject, and then play is my verb. Okay, so this way I'm going to make 10 sentences with the grammar concept I got wrong. And at the end of my 14 days, doing it 14 days, 10 times each day, at the 140th attempt, this will be in my mind most likely forever, and I'll never forget it. So guys, this is the secret technique of drilling for pronunciation and grammar improvement. Use it every day, even if you're not doing those exams like what our subscribers mostly do, CELPIP or IELTS. You owe it to yourself to improve your English, to improve your communication, to become better in how you speak and how you communicate with everybody. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you opportunities. It's going to make you sound good in job interviews, and people will take you a lot more seriously if you don't make mistakes. So especially if you're here in Canada or USA, UK, our clients are everywhere. But if you're in the English-speaking countries, you need to improve yourself. And if you found this video useful, you can implement these things and drastically improve your levels. Okay guys, that's all from today. Please subscribe, like, and share. Tell your friends about what we're doing here and the work we're doing, the free tips we give, so that more and more people can benefit from this. And thank you as always for all your support. Take care. Talk to you very soon.